Genesis 2, the man in the Garden of Eden. Verse 1, thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all the host of them. Verse 2, and on the seventh day God finished the work that he had done, and on the seventh day he rested from all his work. Verse 3, and God blessed the seventh day and sanctified it, because that in it he had rested from all his work which he created and made. These verses emphasize the completion of creation and the consecration of the seventh day as holy. God does not need rest as humans do, but his rest symbolizes satisfaction and fulfillment in the work completed. This act establishes a spiritual model for humanity, to work and then take time to rest and contemplate God's works, recognizing his sovereignty and purpose in creation. Verse 4, these are the origins of the heavens and the earth when they were created, in the day that Jehovah God made the earth and the heavens. Verse 6, but a vapor arose from the earth and watered the whole face of the earth. Verse 5, and every plant of the field before it was in the earth, and every herb of the field before it grew. For the Lord God had not sent rain upon the earth, and there was no man to till the ground. This passage introduces a new focus to the creation narrative, highlighting the specific details of how God provided for the earth before man existed. The absence of rain and the irrigation by steam reflect a unique way in which God sustained the ecosystem, preparing the environment for the arrival of man, who would be responsible for working the earth and caring for it. Verse 7, then the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living being. Verse 8, and the Lord God planted a garden eastward in Eden, and there he put the man whom he had formed. Verse 9, and out of the ground the Lord God made to grow every tree that is pleasant to the sight and good for food, the tree of life also in the midst of the garden, and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. The creation of man is described in unique detail, reflecting a personal and intimate act of God, forming him from the dust and breathing life into him. This sets man apart from the rest of creation, emphasizing his dignity and special purpose. The Garden of Eden is a place of provision and beauty, with the trees representing both physical sustenance and deep spiritual truths, especially the tree of life and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, which will be crucial in the development of life, the biblical narrative. If you like this video, please support us and subscribe to the channel and press the bell button. Don't forget to like this video. Verse 10, and a river went out of Eden to water the garden, and from there it divided into 4 heads. Verse 11, the name of that one was Pison. This is the one that surrounds the whole land of Havilah, where there is gold. Verse 12, and the gold of that land is good. There is also bdellium and onyx. Verse 13, the name of the second river is Gihon. This is the one that flows around the whole land of Cush. Verse 14, and the name of the third river is Hiddekel. It is the one that goes toward the east of Assyria, and the fourth river is the Euphrates. This passage describes the geography of Eden with remarkable accuracy, placing it in a specific place that also seems to transcend our earthly understanding. The names of the rivers and the resources mentioned, such as gold and precious stones, highlight the richness and abundance of the world God created. Although many have attempted to locate Eden geographically, its symbolism points to the perfection of God's design and the connection between the physical creation and its spiritual purpose. Verse 15, then Jehovah God took the man and put him in the Garden of Eden to work it and take care of it. Verse 16, And the Lord God commanded the man, saying, Of every tree of the garden thou mayest eat. Verse 17, But of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil thou shalt not eat, for in the day that thou eatest thereof thou shalt surely die. Here the divine commandment is introduced, which not only establishes the limits of man's freedom, but also his responsibility and the relationship of obedience to God. Work in the garden is not a punishment, but an integral part of the human purpose, reflecting the collaboration between the Creator and His creation. The prohibition concerning the tree of the knowledge of good and evil shows that true life and wisdom reside in trusting in God, rather than seeking autonomy outside His will. Verse 18, And the Lord God said, It is not good that the man should be alone. I will make him a helpmeet for him. Verse 19, So out of the ground the Lord God formed every beast of the field and every bird of the sky, and brought them to Adam to see what he would call them. Whatever Adam called the living creature, that is its name. Verse 20, And Adam gave names to all the cattle, and to the fowl of the air, and to every beast of the field. But for Adam there was found no helpmeet for him. This passage highlights the relational nature of human beings. Although Adam is surrounded by a wonderful creation, none of the creatures satisfy his need for fellowship. This highlights God's intention to create a special relationship between man and woman based on equality and complementarity. At the same time, the act of naming the animals reflects the authority delegated to man as steward of creation. Verse 21, Then the Lord God caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam, and while he was sleeping he took one of his ribs and closed up the flesh in its place. Verse 22, And the rib which the Lord God had taken from man made he a woman, and brought her unto the man. Verse 23, Then Adam said, This is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. Her name shall be called woman, because she was taken out of man. The creation of woman is a deliberate and careful act, showing that she is not inferior to man, but an integral part of his being. The use of a rib symbolizes closeness and protection, rather than superiority or distance. Adam's words are an acknowledgement of the unity and depth of the marriage relationship, which will be instituted as a reflection of God's design for humanity. Verse 24, Therefore a man shall leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. Verse 25, And they were both naked, Adam and his wife, and were not ashamed. Verse 24 lays the foundation for the institution of marriage, showing that it is a deep and permanent union designed to reflect the unity and purpose of creation. The shameless nakedness in verse 25 indicates the purity and complete transparency of the relationship between man, woman, and God before the fall. This symbolizes a state of innocence that will be drastically affected in the next chapter.